o'clock. We'll call the meeting to order. All the voting members are present this morning, and we'll open with the Lord's Prayer.
Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. Thine is the kingdom, power, and glory, now and forever. Amen.
Thank you very much. Citizens' comments, we don't have any, so we'll go straight into approvals. Review and possible action on substation transformer optimization plan.
All right, Board. First, I want to say thank y'all for the very helpful discussions we had at our board meeting last week. What it allowed me to do is understand the board's position, not only in matters when it comes to conflict of interest, but also if I can get bids in a short turnaround, I'm going to try to do it from this point forward. Speaking with the chairman last week, I informed him that I did send out a very short impromptu bid request or proposal request to 3 different contractors. And luckily, I was able to get and acquire 2 bids. As you can see, they are quite different from one another. And I think I can explain why. There's, I think, 2 reasons. One, Irby has always worked for, or not always, but has worked for Floresville in the past. I'm not sure if y'all remember, but when we did the Floresville project, and we were going to do the Floresville project, I told y'all I think the costs are a little higher than what they should be for a project like that. And so I think that, in conjunction with they probably don't have time, but they did not want to lose the bid potential in the future, they threw a bid together. So if they got it, they were going to make a lot of money, and they were just going to have it stick. So JMTJ was the original one that I had proposed utilizing for this project. They came in well under half. The crane, I believe, is going to cost probably around $89,000 to $90,000, somewhere in that range, according to what I've seen. It's a local contractor, heavy haul out of Mission Rail. They're actually the ones that transported and offloaded the 40 MVA at Floresville Sub. So we also have another contractor that I've used in the past, Recon. I thought they were going to bid. I spoke to them, and he said he had the bandwidth, but he never submitted a bid. So I took that as a no bid. I made sure through my spam filters that it wasn't caught up in there, but he never responded to me yesterday when I was trying to contact him. So I still want them in future bids. They're a very good contractor. They're out of Oklahoma. Yes, sir.
Okay, we have the bid in, so we met the requirement, but we still have time to have more people bid on it?
Not really, no, sir.
Okay.
I need this done.
Because there's LV crane out in Stockdale.
Oh, from a crane perspective?
Yeah.
We can still, I thought you meant on the whole thing.
No.
No, we can get a bid from LV out of there. I just always used, I didn't realize they were there. So, yeah.
LV crane, they do a lot of off-field work, and I'm pretty sure they have something that can do this.
It's going to be in that 250,000 pound range, so it's way up there. You're talking 100 ton to 120 tons range.
That's what you're not.
It'd
be worth the call.
Yeah, no, if we move forward as I'm proposing today with JMTJ, I will have them contact both to get a competitive bid on both and go from there. The crane guys, I'm pretty sure they gave Irby, well, I know they gave Irby the cost. Why they didn't give JMTJ that same cost, I don't know. But I want to move forward with JMTJ. The cost savings on using them is just too obvious on the labor and materials on their side of it, outside the crane. And that's why when I asked Irby, they sent me a bid. It was over 740,000. I had to back out the crane because I wanted to compare apples to apples. I didn't want to compare something that was, I didn't know how much the crane at the time cost. So that's why I'm giving you an $80,000 to $100,000 estimate. on the crane. But today, with that said, I'm asking for approval to move forward with JMTJ for $450,000 to cover any incidentals or unknowns that, as we go into this is a brownfield construction. We may start tearing into the foundation out at Eagle Creek because we have to rebuild that foundation to fit the 40 up there. We may dive into that and have a few more expenses that are not known right now once we get underground. I believe we have it all tied up. We've got all of the conduit and cable wiring and everything, but I just want some just in case money in there so that we can not have any surprises to the board later. That's my request today, and then we'll go over conflict of interest here in a minute.
Any questions?
Where's money coming from? Can you tell
We
us?
have the $6 million Bentwood project that we have budgeted in the CapEx. I'm going to utilize that money, and then depending on what Santos and I look at, we can potentially file with our insurance since it is a failed transformer. But I want to be real careful with that because I know when you put those kind of dollars, they probably would only cover moving that transformer from Eagle Creek over to Sutherland Springs, because that's the repair to that. Since we're doing a transformer shuffle to optimize our substations, I think it just needs to be a CapEx project, and we'll take it out of bonds, 50% bonds, 50% cash. And that way we don't increase our insurance premium, because I'm trying to stay away from that. Our insurance premiums have been increasing year over year for a long time. Last year was the first year that it really didn't increase much.
One move can be justified, but two moves can't.
I think if insurance had me saying that they want me to take that 40 and move it over to Sutherland Springs, I don't believe that's the right move for the way our system is. But Mayor, to answer your question, if you recall in the presentation last week, Bentwood's going to be delayed a year and a half based on the transformer delivery, and we can readjust those dollar values for Bentwood at that time.
Yes, I recall that.
Okay.
So we need a motion that we accept the bid from JMT for the construction of the pad at,
I would just say relocation project.
Yeah, I would just say either relocation project or substation optimization project. And that way,
Up to $450,000.
up to $450,000. And that's exactly what I'm asking for today. And again, we'll utilize the $6 million that we already have budgeted. It's not something that is not in the budget, but we're reallocating those funds from that substation project.
And with the JMTJ, they're gonna do everything, the foundation,
Yes,
whatever
sir.
y'all we need over there.
Testing, rewiring, it includes all of the above. We had a meeting with them last week to ensure that they wanted to sit down and figure out, make sure their bid was justified so that it included everything. In fact, some of it was noted that we have to redo one of the conduits at Eagle Creek, and that's included in there as well.
Any other questions or any action to take?
okay, I'll make the motion if the board is ready. Make the motion that we accept the bid from JMT for, we want to put in $450,000 for the substation transformer optimization,
Clarify with up to $450,000.
up to $450,000.
I don't think it'll cost that much, but
Okay, we got a motion by Mr. Aiken for JMTJ's bid acceptance.
I'll move in second.
Seconded by the mayor. All those in favor? Unanimous. Thank you. Second item, review and possible action on conflict of interest disclosure.
all right. I had a long discussion with our legal to ensure that we're doing the right thing here. And according to legal, the notification I gave to the board was adequate for conflict of interest notification, as long as we get it in the minutes, which they will be. I'll ensure that Brenda gets those in our minutes from last meeting. What I did find out in the investigation was that our policies are very vague in conflict of interest, and I want to tighten them up. I want to get a specific conflict of interest policy developed for, I know there's one for the board. That's already existing. I want to make sure there's one that's much more tightened down for our team here at Phelps. More specifically, the executive staff, but probably we go down to the supervisors and managers as well. Because I want to make sure that not only Phelps is covered, but each individual employee is covered, and that there's no question about whether there's a conflict of interest. Similar to what I was notifying y'all about with my wife working for JMTJ. So I just want to make sure you guys are aware of where we are internally. And when we develop that policy, one of the things that we'll include is an annual update of that conflict of interest documentation. Everywhere I've worked, we've had that annual conflict of interest, especially once I hit that management level. We had a conflict of interest policy that we had to update every year to make sure that there was something in line, not only for our protection, but usually auditors catch some of that. And I'm not sure why our auditors didn't catch that, but that's neither here nor there. I'm one policy for conflict of interest. Speaking with Santos, he also agreed that this was something that he had seen throughout his career, and we need to make sure that's a policy here at Phelps. So look for sometime in the next 2-3 months, we'll get a policy developed, we'll get it in front of the board, and we'll get it approved, and then we'll enact it and make sure it's implemented from this point forward and updated annually. I don't need a motion necessarily on this today. We'll make that policy, when we get that policy, we'll get a motion from the board. And if that's okay with the board, we'll move in this direction. Any concerns with that?
No, I think it's a very good idea.
Okay. Again, we're trying to protect not only Phelps, but the individual team members. We don't need to put a team member in a position where it's questionable. And, we're in the public eye. Wilson County News helps us out a lot, and we want to make sure that we're visible and open to the public on any of these issues. That's all I had, Chairman.
Okay, so we don't need any action, we just have public notification. So no action on item B, nothing else on our agenda, so we will adjourn at 8:13 a.m.
Wait a minute,
What?
we haven't been here long enough.
You didn't get to finish your breakfast?
Yeah.
We don't